This is the BWF Wrestling Podcast. With your host and the leader of the BWF Nation, the King, Susan Little Babu, the undisputed BWF Champion,
Wrestling fans, we are live this week at the BWF Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Aaron the Bish Bishop, and we are joined as always by G. Patrick Condon. But before I throw it over to our co-host, I just want to say, if you are a hardcore wrestling fan, if you want to help this channel grow, please subscribe to us by hitting the bell. And this week, we have a very special episode in store. We actually have a fan favorite for you, our perhaps number one fan, Nick Opalewski, has specially requested this episode, the Royal Rumble 1990, one of the most iconic Rumbles of all time. G. Patrick Condon, how are you this week?
Hello, yes. Shout out to Nick for requesting something, and of course, if you're watching this home and you got a pay-per-view that you want us to cover, don't let Nick get all the glory. You could do it too. So just shoot Aaron a message. I can leave your phone number, Aaron, for people to give you a call. Maybe we can just completely dox you so that people have all of your information and are able to contact you and request whatever they want. We love to hear it. We love to hear from you guys.
And once you're done watching this episode, folks, if you are, as I said, a hardcore wrestling fan, if you do love this channel and you want to support us, head over to our Patreon page where you can, you'll be signed up for BWF prize packages. You'll get them every now and again. You can request all kinds of topics whenever you want. We'll shout out you on the show. And plus, there's all kinds of other goodies. But all that being said, before we get into the Royal Rumble 1990, Pat, did you have a chance to watch Raw yesterday on Netflix, episode number 2 of the Netflix era?
You bet I didn't. I've seen some of the fallout for it. Before we move into wrestling, though, I can't help but notice that sharp on-air sign you got behind you there, Aaron. Does that turn on by any chance, or what's the deal with it?
It does turn on. I tried turning it on earlier, but for some reason the webcam, it just picks up white when it's
weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. So unfortunately I cannot turn it on, but we are definitely on air right now, live in the living color.
That's right. I just figured out that I can control the sound effects here. So you should have seen the look on Andrew's face just then. That's not me. That was not me. Aaron, no, I did not see the number 2 episode of the Netflix Raw. I have heard some stuff about it. What's your take on it? What did you think of it? What was the follow-up like?
Oh God! You know, the main event between Finn Balor and Damian Priest, that was fine. That was good. Couple good spots that lived up to the hype. Everything else on the show, it was, a 3-hour show, and about 2 hours and 40 minutes of it was unwatchable. Just slow, man. Everything is so slow. They have more matches this week than last, but still, it's like I'm watching 2012 Triple H matches over and over again. Just that slow, plodding, methodical pace that just makes me want to rip my hair out if I had any. Yeah, just not a fan. Not a fan of it so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be a difficult thing to follow up the pageantry and the excess of the first episode. I find that if I watch anything, it's normally like the sort of the interviews. Did CM Punk do anything? Was he on the show?
Yeah, him and Drew and Seth actually had a segment. All three of them had a segment. All of them are throwing their name into the Royal Rumble this year.
Okay, yeah, there you go. I mean, that's So yeah, and not entirely surprised. I saw that Jimmy Uso is taking on Gunther at a Saturday
Jey
night's main
Uso.
event.
Jey
Yes,
Uso,
right,
yeah.
yeah,
Main event Jey Uso, yeah.
and
Whoop-de-doo.
well, it's more of the same problem that we discussed last time with the way that this is booking. It's like it's fairly disappointing. But I did hear that Gunther said to him that had a line that he's a really, really great tag team wrestler.
Yeah, Gunther actually owned that segment. You put Jay in his place. You could tell Jay was kind of flustered a little bit and sort of voice cracking in his promo, just I don't know, it was really funny. Gunther got over on him. But I mean, Gunther was also right in his promo saying that of all the guys, like Gunther would be naive to think that he's gonna hold on to the title forever, but it ain't gonna be Jey Uso that knocks him off.
No,
I mean, and we all know that as fans, it's not going to happen. So it's kind of a waste of a match, if you ask me. Like, that's
yeah,
a Raw match. That's not a Saturday Night's main event match.
exactly. Well, and it was the same thing with the last Saturday night's main event, which was Cody versus Kevin Owens. Which again, like people, as you get into it, you go like, well, maybe because everybody believes that it's not going to happen, there is a chance that they'll make the switch. As bad of an idea as that would be, and that's pretty much the only intrigue in it. And Triple H has shown that he is definitely not in the era, the Vince Russo swerve era. Like he doesn't seem like he plots his path and then he goes towards it. And for better or for worse, some people will argue that the swerves were too much and nonsense, but other people would say that those kinds of swerves made it interesting. You never knew what was going to happen.
Exactly. How did that old adage go? You never know what to expect in the WWF, but I mean, like, you know what to expect these days. You can literally plot out exactly what Triple H is doing 6 months or more in advance. You know where the storylines are going, and it just seems like everything's filler in between. Not very exciting. So far, 0 for 2 on the Netflix.
Ooh.
But all that being said, let's get into something more exciting. The 1990 Royal Rumble. Again, thank you, Nick Opalewski, for requesting this episode. This is one that I've been wanting to go through for a while. Love that sound effect. It just gets me going every time.
Hold on. We didn't even really have that. Just try it again. And here we go.
Whoa.
We got a fade going. Maybe that one's it. Anyway, sorry. I digress. Go ahead, Aaron.
It's all good. It's like in The Simpsons where Homer's like, whack, 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 and Mark's like, woo, woo, woo. Anyway, the Royal Rumble 1990. We are in Orlando, Florida. The attendance was 16,000. Pay-per-view buys 260,000. Hosts are Tony Schiavone and Jesse the Body Ventura. Interesting note here, as this is Tony's second and final WWF pay-per-view event before heading back to WCW.
Yeah, and God love him. And Jesse Ventura, what was he wearing there?
A Mickey
in that
Mouse
photo?
sweater, I think, maybe some ears, maybe possibly.
Yes. Because they're in Orlando, hey?
Yes.
And look at that, he's got a little braided rat tail. That is 1990. I wanted to ask, before we get into this, do we know why our friend who requested it wanted us to do this? Did he tell you why? Did we find out why of all pay-per-views?
No, actually, he just requested it out of the blue. So here we go.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's find that out. Let's dig deep into it.
This is actually a really interesting pay-per-view. The crowd is hot all the way through. 1990 WWF, man. I mean, like, this is just the peak of wrestling, around this time. But yeah, the first match on this pay-per-view is the Fabulous Rougeaus versus the Bushwhackers.
Oh yeah, look at these guys.
Oh yeah,
Raymond. What's the other? It's Ray and who?
Jacques.
And Jacques. Wow, look at Jacques got a full beard going there. I don't think I've ever seen that.
He was growing this beard in preparation for his singles career, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, these two teams, Bushwhackers and Rougeaus, bangers of theme musics. Love them. Rougeaus, man, they gotta be top 10. Gotta be top 10 of all time theme music.
Sure, yeah. And so now I believe we said on the show a couple of weeks ago
Mhm.
that you were going to be talking to one of the bushwhackers. I know that there was some stuff that came up. Is that still happening? Where you at? Are you still in touch with Luke, the bushwhacker? I believe.
I'll be in touch with Luke very soon to organize a new date. But yes, we will be talking to Luke, the bushwhacker, at some
Still
point
happening.
in the future. So it will happen. Yes.
All right, so maybe a bit of bias here on Bishop's behalf on who he's going for in this match. What's the lowdown? Take us through it
Well,
briefly.
listen, this match starts off with the Bushwhackers biting the ass of the referee. I don't know how that's not a DQ.
Yeah,
But you know,
point.
it's a typical Bushwhacker match. There's no reason for any Bushwhacker match to go over 10 minutes. This one actually goes almost 15. No
Wow.
need to go through the whole thing. There's no
Do they
dick
do a lot
twists
of their
in this
shtick
one, like
with it?
WrestleMania 5.
Yeah,
Yeah, their whole shtick is
like
it's
they're licking people and they're just being gross.
yeah.
Is yeah. It's so strange to find out after the fact that and I think I always say this when the Bushwhackers are brought up, that they were such a bloody indie team as the sheep herders, and then just got completely converted into
saddled into I don't know what I'm gonna call it, like Neanderthalic tag team.
yeah. Well, you could imagine them hanging out with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. You know, did those three ever team up? What a Survivor Series team! If you could think of just the fourth, it could be like Eugene. Good, yeah, Eugene, Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, and the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, that's really good. But yeah, the Bushwhackers, they would end up winning this match using their battering ram. Sadly, this would be the final match for the Fabulous Rougeaus. Raymond would retire because of back issues. He would become a backstage interviewer and commentator. And of course, Jock would be taken off TV for almost a year and would be repackaged into a much different character. Apparently, he spent a lot of that time off going through Canadian law enforcement training.
Okay.
Because he would become the Mountie.
Yes, there you go. But not with the beard, though. He doesn't come back with the beard.
Not with the beard. No, he doesn't come out with the beard. That's too bad. That beard was bitching. I don't know. Can we say that on YouTube?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. We'll see.
4 stars for the beard, negative stars for everything else. But the crowd was really into it. But yeah, speaking of being licked by a bushwhacker, can you imagine being licked by a bushwhacker? I can't. Folks, leave a comment below. Have you ever been licked by a bushwhacker? If you have, I guarantee I will send you BWF prize package because you deserve it.
Now, I mean, Aaron, every week with these things, we're sending out prize packages left, right, and center. We must have sent out hundreds at this point. How many more prize packages do we have left at this?
We draw for the prize package every now and again.
Okay. My bad.
Matt Baker will be receiving his prize package soon. But yes, we will be drawing for another prize package very, very shortly. Yeah. Probably before the end of the month, honestly. So get those comments in and you're automatically entered.
I mean, we're already halfway through January at this point. Where does the time go, Aaron? That's my question to you. Where does the time go?
I don't know.
Nice.
Oh, you didn't know? So good. All right. Next on the pay-per-view, moving along just a little bit, we have Ted DiBiase with his bodyguard Virgil being interviewed by Mean Gene Okerlund, who mentioned that last year Ted drew number 30. While some shenanigans, he did buy the number. Okerlund noted that security was going to stop that this year. DiBiase complained that he wasn't allowed the opportunity to even draw his number as Virgil drew it. DiBiase was not happy about the number he drew. Okerlund revealed that DiBiase drew number 1 in the Rumble match. And of course, Ted DiBiase said he'll be the first man in the ring, the last man in the ring, and he'll show us that he's the greatest wrestling talent in the world, and he's going to win it all. Great promo by Ted. Man, wrestling is so good back then.
Hell yeah. So what was, well, I guess we'll get to it. I was going to ask what ultimately his number was.
Ted's number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. He'll enter number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Next match on the card is unfortunately the low point. It's the Genius versus Brutus the Barber Beefcake. This match came about as a result of Hulk Hogan's feud with Mr. Perfect, as their two lackeys are now doing battle in their boss's honor. That being
Yes.
said, Beefcake really was super over here. Like,
Yes.
really, really over. And this would lead to his feud with Mr. Perfect in their match at WrestleMania 6, where Beefcake would actually be the first person to defeat Mr. Perfect on television.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah. And so what's I've never been a fan of the Genius at all. I would say that and I'm not talking bad about Lanny Poffo here. But the Genius character itself, I would say I almost hate. The poems, and he really, like, hearing him talk about his own poems. Maybe I don't like Lanny Poffo in person, because he thinks that these poems are great. Like, he would say in shoot interviews, like, this is how I came up with this one, and like, I mean, the most elementary of rhymes. I could probably come up with one right now. They say Aaron Bishop is the best to be hosting a podcast. But when you think about it, where did he? I'm not done yet. Hold on to burn me at least. The bit's over. Yeah. I was going somewhere with it. I was thinking to it. It's like freestyling or whatever. Anyways, point is, we messed up a little bit on the sound effects there. Let's move on.
Speaking of Genius's poems, he starts us out with a poem in which he declares himself smart and Beefcake double dumb.
Yeah,
Zing!
and so what do you think? Yes. So, I mean, what could he have rhymed the words double dumb with? Some, from?
A word that we have to beep out here.
Well, it depends on context.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The word cum is not necessarily a vulgar word, Aaron. Go ahead.
There you go. In terms
Nice.
of in-ring action, though, this match was filled with cartwheels, eye gouges, punches, kicks, and sleepers. After a ref bump, Beefcake would put the Genius to sleep and would cut some of the Genius's hair. Mr. Perfect would come out of nowhere and hit a perfect plex. Even though the ref is knocked out, the bell rings and the match ends in a double DQ. I guess the bellkeeper just went ahead.
Did the timekeeper decide
assumed
that it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate when wrestling does stuff like that.
I know, so stupid.
Yeah.
Post-match, though, was the best part of the whole thing. Mr. Perfect went into the ring with the chair and hit Beefcake
Oh yeah,
right
look at
in
that.
the ribs with it.
That's not rigged chairs either. You take a look at that. That's a heavy duty, legit chair there.
Busted those ribs. And the referees, which included a young Shane McMahon, his referee name at this time was Shane Stevens, made Mr. Perfect leave. This match sucked, but as I said, had a decent ending.
All right, what do we got next?
Next is the sleeper match on the card, one that I did not think I was going to enjoy, but my goodness, this match was awesome. We have the submission match between Greg the Hammer Valentine and Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
And Ronnie Garvin, he's kind of like, who's the Montreal guy that is always in matches around this era too?
Dino Bravo?
Dino Bravo, yeah. I put these guys kind of on the same sort of thing where they're just like, they always just sort of seem to be around, even though you're not really sure what they're bringing to the whole thing. They don't have much of a gimmick. Dino Bravo, and Rotten Ronnie Garvin, not much going on.
They're just tough guys. They're strong, tough guys, right?
Yes,
pretty much.
Good hands. Rugged Ronnie Garvin. My apologies.
This feud actually started. This is January 1990. This feud started in December of 1988.
Wow. Who's the good guy in this?
The good guy is Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Yeah.
The feud saw Garvin defeating Valentine on an episode of Superstars, and then Valentine would win the return match. They would eventually have a retirement match in which Valentine won. Garvin would become a referee. I don't know if you remember Garvin as a referee back then, but his time as a referee came to an end when he would disqualify Valentine in a match. So after he was referee, he became a ring announcer. But Garvin would ridicule Valentine any chance he had on the microphone. So he got fired from that as well. But the Hammer, who wanted to, I don't know, avenge his name, would get Rugged Ronnie Garvin reinstated. And they would get a little small taste of each other at the Survivor Series. But this is the match to end the feud. And my goodness, what a match it is. One of the stories going into this match is the shin guard that Greg Valentine is wearing. He calls it the Heartbreaker, and apparently it makes his figure four more painful. Garvin decided to counter this with his own shin guard that he calls the Hammer Jammer. Good stuff. Love it. The match starts out with both men absolutely beating the crap out of each other. The sweat is flying as they exchange blows. It literally sounds like gunshots going off with each strike. This match feels like an NWA match or even a Japan Strong style, which is pretty cool because you just don't see that very often in the WWF back then. These guys are having a great back and forth, hard-hitting affair. The psychology in play when slapping the figure fours on with the braces being used is fun. Ronnie Garvin seems to be having the time of his life here.
What
Look
is
at his
yeah,
face.
look at him. Yeah. Oh, is that I've seen this this screenshot before, so it's from this match, hey?
It's from this match, yeah.
Does the audience care? Because
They
this
do.
is really wow, I'm surprised. It's such a this is such a personality based time where the Bushwhackers can get over just by doing their shtick, and these guys don't have anything.
I
So
think
I'm
Valentine
surprised.
back then still had the respect of his Intercontinental and Tag Team Championship runs. This is probably his last match before he goes into Rhythm and Blues. So, I mean, his
Yeah.
his career is pretty much over, done ski after this match. But that being said, the finish would see Ronnie Garvin getting the win after he locks in the sharpshooter. Tony Schiavone calls it a reverse figure four. Look at that sharpshooter. It's so
That's
good.
beautiful. That's a
It is
beautiful one.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is where Brett may have gotten the idea for the move. Who knows?
Is Brett not using the sharpshooter at this point?
No, Brett's still a tag team wrestler at this point.
Wow, there you go.
He
I
would use
mean,
the
you
sharpshooter
could
a
be
year later.
you could be blowing blowing the lid off of a huge conspiracy, or I don't know.
Because apparently Brett got the idea from Sting, but I mean, I don't know.
So is Sting doing the cloverleaf? There you go. Nice. Is Sting doing the cloverleaf at this point then?
You know, I'm not sure.
Fans,
I don't know.
why don't you write down there if you know whether or not Sting is doing the cloverleaf? Could Rugged Ronnie Garvin be the real inventor of the sharpshooter?
Leave your comment
Scorpion
below.
Deadlock. There
Yes.
you go.
What do you
Cloverleaf
think?
ish. All right.
Next, we have Mr. Perfect promo. Mean Gene is again backstage, and he brings up Mr. Perfect's interference earlier. Mr. Perfect tells him to call it what he wants, but he's sick and tired of Beefcake putting people to sleep and taking advantage of them. Oh my. Is that a little Sunny Days comment there, maybe? I don't know. A little work, shoot, work.
Yeah.
Who knows? But then he has a great line about how hair will grow back, but Beefcake's ribs might not grow back the right way. Then Gene asks Perfect what number he drew. He replies that he drew the perfect number, which is, of course, number 30.
Boom.
Next, we have a Brother Love segment. Another segment that I did not think much of when I first started watching it, but my goodness, this segment was fun. It was really good.
Who is it? Where are we at with it? I could see that we have a looks like is that Sherry and
Yes.
and Sapphire?
Yeah, we have Sensational Queen Sherry come out, and they're just running down, of course, Sapphire. Sapphire comes out, and as soon as she gets there, Sherry is like, "Where do you get your clothes?" So from now on, I know not to look like you. Just saying a bunch of mean things. Of course, Jesse makes a bunch of fat jokes, which are pretty funny. Not gonna lie, classic. Then Ventura puts Tony on the spot and asks which woman he'd rather date.
Oh,
Tony does
yeah.
not say Sapphire, the babyface. Let's just leave it like that.
Oh, no? Well,
No,
you know, he doesn't.
this is a
Yeah.
gold segment. This is so
Yeah.
funny. Top to
Tony's
bottom.
always been a dog. He's been a
Dog.
dog. He wouldn't. Yeah. Not surprised.
Brother Love and Sherry make fun of Sapphire some more, and of course the people in the crowd. Sapphire had enough, slaps Sherry in the face. Macho King and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, run down and interfere. As I said, Sherry and Love were on their game in this segment. They were in true form. It did its job, which was to set up the mixed tag team match at WrestleMania between the four. Great job. That being said, I do wish the match at WrestleMania 6 was just Macho versus Dusty, maybe. I don't know. But that would be the very first mixed tag team match in history, WWF history. Next on the card, another low point, I guess. The Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus the Big Boss Man with Slick. Boss Man and Slick make their way to the ring, and Jesse claims that Tony has done some time in prison. He asks Tony if he's ever faced a guard like the Boss Man. Tony replies he hasn't, but he did face some women like that.
Wow. So how are you? How do you find the rapport between Jesse and Tony? Do you
I
think
actually
it's
like
working
it.
here?
It's not like Gorilla and Jesse, you know, but it's good. It's good. Tony's not bad. Yeah, he's not the best, not the worst.
There you go.
There you go.
Mediocre. Fish
Mediocre.
says.
Fans, which commentating team do you like the best? Jesse Ventura and Gorilla, Jesse and Tony, or other? Leave it in the comments.
Those are the only choices you have.
Right? Yeah.
Those two are other.
Or other. Yeah.
Don't be specific. If you are specific, you're not getting entered into the prize package draw.
Oh God, I would like to hear that story about Tony though going to jail. That must be something else. But as in regards to this match here, it's a slugfest. Not too many wrestling moves, although the Bossman does hit an enziguri, which is pretty impressive. The finish comes as Slick attempts to grab Duggan, but he moves, and Bossman hits Slick by mistake. Bossman then goes to plan B by grabbing the nightstick, while Slick distracts the referee. Bossman uses the nightstick, but the referee catches him and calls for the bell for the DQ.
Nice.
Hacksaw wins. Yeah.
What does Bossman do anything heelish after, like lock up Hacksaw and just knock him out or anything like that?
No, they don't. They just leave.
That's not very heelish. Heelish.
But then again, this would be the Bossman's. Well, I guess technically second last appearance, but it would be his last match as a heel, as he would turn face shortly after. If you don't know how the Bossman turned face, it's pretty cool. Bossman would come out and attack Jake the Snake with the nightstick, tie him up in the ropes, and take back the $1 million belt that Jake had taken from Ted. They would have an impromptu Brother Love segment where DiBiase mentions that Slick and Bossman were paid well. This pisses the Bossman off, saying he wasn't aware of a payoff, that he was just told that he was returning stolen property, and that he wasn't a thief. Bossman tells DiBiase that he's going to have to earn his belt back the hard way before giving Jake back the belt. And there you have it. Bossman turns face.
Wow.
Good stuff.
He had integrity this whole time. He
did.
Yeah, cool. And so he would be babyface then, which makes sense. I mean, especially again at this point in time, if you're going to have a cop, the WWF, they believe in America and doing the right thing and trust police officers, and I'll just leave it at that.
They also needed some faces on the roster, as Hogan was shortly due to depart the WWF to go film Suburban Commando, so they needed another good guy in the roster, and also they wanted an opponent for Jacques Rougeau for when he returned as the Mountie. So
that turned out pretty
good,
actually. I remember that.
It did turn out to be really good. That's a match we should go over. A pay-per-view, SummerSlam 91. Good stuff there.
Hopefully somebody requests it.
Mm-hmm. Next, we're going to get some Royal Rumble promos. My goodness. By the end of it, we see 19 out of the 30 participants tell us who they are and why they will win the prestigious event.
Yeah, and so I guess this is like
there.
the classic. This is like the classic Rumble stuff where they come in and they kind of say their catchphrase, like, you've already done Mr. Perfect, but that would be the easy one. But like, Texas Tornado's gonna touch down, knock out 29 other guys.
Yeah, exactly like that. And they just did these off of rapid fire over and over and over again. Everybody was really good except for Jimmy Snuka, who just barked and mumbled something about fishing with sharks.
Yeah,
I don't know, but the rest of it was so good, and it just reminds you of how great the WWF back then was. I mean, the feeling of nostalgia going through these things, it just can't be reproduced. Absolutely love it. But finally, we get the comments from the Ultimate Warrior.
yes,
He screams about the power of the Warrior spreading like a virus.
yes.
Where do I get my shot for that?
Right, and he's he's Intercontinental Champion at this point, still, right? From
He's got
beating
the cool
Honky.
yellow strap going.
Nice, yes,
Yeah,
cool.
He talked about how the other 28 normal men in the match would be thrown over the top rope, but he singles out Hogan as the 29th man. He says
Yes,
Hogan's force field is similar to his own,
yes,
and Hogan has walked close to where he has been, and he says that they will fulfill his destiny. Hogan comes out and says that for us as fans to expect the unexpected. So does that mean I should not expect him to win? I don't. But anyway, he claims that no matter how prepared everyone else is, they cannot compensate for his pythons. He claims he doesn't care who he faces because he will dig deep and beat all 29 opponents. And before we get into the Royal Rumble, sir,
I'm going to jump in for a second about Hogan because
sure.
I think we talked last week about him being booed, and that's still got some legs to it. That's still a story that's still going around. Apparently, he was really bummed out about it, and now they're trying to figure out how to retcon his character. Did we talk about that last week? Was that known?
Yeah, a little tiny bit, but
about him being a heel now? Because they have to continue promoting it.
We didn't bring that up. Yeah, I seen somewhere online that they're talking about bringing him as a heel.
Yeah, because they've got this.
That when I see it.
Well, I mean, yeah. But either way, they got to still promote him because they've already signed this deal to promote his Carney beer. So it's not like he can go away. But could this be the end of the Terry Bollea wrestling? Like the last that we see of him, is everybody just hating him as he wants to be loved?
I think so. At the end of this episode, right at the end of this Royal Rumble, we'll see, of course, the fan sign that says Hulkamania will live forever. But I think that Hulkamania is now dead. I think you can put an RIP on it as of last week. My goodness.
I haven't watched it. It seems like it would be very cringy to watch, so I never really. I haven't watched it. I guess
poor Jimmy Hurt's facial expression. You can just tell he's just like, oh god. I feel bad for Jimmy more than anybody else, but yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah. So, it can't be because of his politics. It must be just everything that he's ever done, right? Like the racism stuff and like the politicking. Like it must be just saying that the Undertaker broke his neck. Like, is this? I don't know. It was so strange that finally, people have turned their back, or they've had enough of the Hulkster.
I think it's the Benoit comment that probably was the straw that broke the camel's back for most fans.
If you were there, now I may have already asked you this because this is obviously, with your pull and your ability to manipulate the WWF universe, myself included. As I said, I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre now, and you single-handedly turned Edge heel at that SummerSlam. Would you have booed Hulk Hogan? Will you boo Hulk Hogan when you see him again?
No, I will not boo Hulk Hogan.
Will you try to use your
powers? If he's a heel,
yeah,
then I will go along with it and boo him. Yes,
yeah.
But no, otherwise I'm not booing the Hulkster.
So, I mean, this could be worth going to Mania about alone if he makes an appearance there in Las Vegas.
Oh,
you
brother.
could possibly be the guy that turns him back. This could be the pinnacle, the climax of your storyline, of your powers here, Aaron. The test. And I notice you are wearing a nice NWO shirt there. So I know that you are for life. I mean, that's legit. But I think that this could be it. You could be the guy that sends Hulk off into the sunset. I would definitely cheer him. I think it. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that people have turned their backs on him. If you're going to start judging wrestlers by like their character or stuff that they've done behind the scenes, you're not going to be able to cheer any of them. Steve Austin got arrested for domestic abuse. The Rock smashed the hell out of Mick Foley's head, took liberties with him at Royal Rumble. Mick Foley's not happy about that. Anyways, you could go down the line, and nobody is infallible. So I'm with you. I wouldn't
That's right.
boo the Hulkster.
That's right.
He
This
did a
man
lot.
deserves your respect. If it wasn't for this toy right here, this man right here, wrestling would not be the way it is today. So
Well, you give him a little kiss on the forehead there, Bish.
here we go.
I would have went with a nice "aw" instead of sexualizing it. But look, Andrew's his own man. Go ahead.
Just never mind. Yeah, I'll go there. But yeah, we are going into the Royal Rumble 1990, and just some of the names I have to mention before we start this off in this Rumble. Listen to this lineup. My God. Ted DiBiase, Jake Roberts, Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Bret Hart, Dusty Rhodes, Andre the Giant, Action Smash, Jimmy Snuka, Alton Boyer, Rick the Model, Tito Santana, Honky Tonk Man, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Rick Rude, and Mr. Perfect. Holy shit, here we go. The $1 Million Man enters number 1, and Coco Beware comes in at number 2. It doesn't take long for DiBiase to dump Coco over the top rope. Number 3 is Jannetty. I've always remembered Jannetty's elimination here, as he literally dives at DiBiase, but misses, essentially jumping over the top rope, eliminating himself, looking like an idiot. Next, we see Jake the Snake, followed by the Macho King and Roddy Piper. Woo! We see some cool matchups we wouldn't normally get to witness as Macho and DiBiase temporarily join forces.
Nice. You can even see that Macho's thinning out there a little bit, hey?
Oh, yeah.
And that's Piper they're going against?
That's Piper there, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Dusty Rhodes would get the best of Savage as he threw him over the top rope.
There you go. But I mean, I don't know if this is their first year, but they certainly are now knowing how to use the Rumble to set up matches for Mania.
And said DiBiase and Macho, they were going against Jake the Snake there for a little bit too, and that was there you go, see picture there. That would actually set up the matchup between Jake and Ted DiBiase at WrestleMania 6.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. The number 11 man in the Rumble was Andre the Giant, who was still a heel here and was near the end of his career.
Right. He turned babyface at the Mania 6, does he?
That's right. Yep, at WrestleMania 6, yeah. Bad News Brown tried to eliminate Roddy Piper, but Roddy held on and eliminated him. Instead,
I love Bad News. Bad News.
Bad News is great. Yeah, Bad News. Yeah,
we can do
really good stuff here. Yeah, Bad News would go back in actually and grab Roddy by the hair and would eliminate him. I don't know how it was legal, but it was.
Yeah, but I mean that is still legal to this day, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes, I guess it depends on the Rumble.
It goes back and forth. Huh?
It goes back and forth. Yeah, but these guys, they would go ahead and have a brawl all the way back and set up their own WrestleMania 6 match. Of course, the famous match where Roddy Piper painted himself half black, in permanent ink. He had to go through the airport, half black and half white, looking like that for about 2 weeks afterwards because Andre the Giant took his saline solution that was supposed to get rid of it. He switched it with water, so
there you go.
Piper had to go around like that for weeks. Where are we? Yeah, by the time number 20 comes out, it takes 6 men to eliminate the Big Earthquake.
Hell
who
yeah.
is about to go on his big run in the summer of that year. Number 21 is the Ultimate Warrior, who comes out to a massive pop.
Yes, sir.
Just massive. DiBiase is still in the ring at this point, as Virgil has been helping him avoid elimination, but Warrior would eliminate DiBiase after 44 minutes. This would be the first time we would see the workhorse role in the Rumble. As we know, Rick the Model Martel in 91 would have that role. Then Ric Flair would have it in 92, Bob Backlund in 93, and so on. Good to see Ted get some flowers here. But yeah, Rick the Model Martel and Tito Santana would go at it, former WWF Tag Team Champions and partners. The fans ate that up. Hogan comes in at 25, and we see Hogan and Warrior clean house. The fans are going absolute ape shit. And then we see Hogan and Warrior standing toe-to-toe. Oh my God. Holy shit. What a moment. Getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Even watching back on it, it's a moment. I can only imagine watching it live there. Oh, man. They would start crisscrossing each other, and then they would close on each other.
You know what it's like, and this is just my take on it right now. It's almost like, I mean, these guys are so over, right? They're so huge with the fans. It's almost like it's the immovable force meets the unstoppable object.
It's the movable force, irresistible force, meaning the immovable object, right?
No. I came. What are you talking about? I just made that up.
Oh, it's good.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right, enough.
Oh my! Rick Rude and Barbarian, they would come in. The heels double team Warrior. Hogan charges, clotheslines for all, and he eliminates the Warrior. This, of course, would set up their epic and iconic match at WrestleMania 6. The final three would be Ravishing Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, and Hulk Hogan.
Now, so Hogan eliminates the Warrior?
Yes. Hogan,
and what's the fan reaction to that?
Oh, the fans are going crazy. There are a few boos, but the fans are just going nuts. They don't know how to handle it, basically. But the Warrior, as soon as he's eliminated, he's just running around, doing his thing. And then the fans are jacked up on Mountain Dew, man. It's great to watch. Great to hear. Yeah. Hogan would, of course, overcome the odds, eliminate Mr. Perfect, and win the Rumble. This would end their own feud. And, of course, we see more iconic moments as Hogan grabs the Hulkamania Will Live Forever sheet that a fan made and poses with it. Just a memory.
Now, you were saying earlier, Aaron, you were saying earlier that you believe that Hulkamania will live forever, in fact, or you question whether or not.
I think, before last week, I probably would have said it would live forever, but after that Netflix segment, rip. R.I.P.
Wow. You got your work cut out for you. I mean, that's essentially what we're talking about here, is that it's up to you whether or not Hulkamania will live forever.
Fans, what do you think?
No. Okay, look.
This
is your goal. This is what you're doing. This is your mission in life.
Oh, I will get Hulkamania to live forever. Don't worry.
Okay,
we're gonna go to Vegas, and we're just gonna Hulk up all over the place down there.
Will you? Maybe you could dress up as Hulk Hogan.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Or NWO one. I mean, if you had to choose,
I mean, I could dye the mustache blonde and put a little wig on, or I just put the bandana on. There you go, good to go.
Yeah. Yep.
But fans, also another way to win a prize package, you can answer the question to this trivia question, and that is, who had the most eliminations in this Royal Rumble? Leave your comment, win a package, and also let us know, where does this rank as your top Rumbles of all time? Is it top 10, top 5? Is it even your favorite? Let us know in the comments.
What about you? How about you, Aaron? Where would you put this? I put this to you now.
I was going through some of the Rumbles last night, just, where would I put this?
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% top 5 or top 10. Sorry,
but not top 5.
Debatable. 1992, of course, we have the best. 2008 was great.
Yes.
So there are other really good Rumbles. You know what? Yeah, I think this would be a top 5 Rumble. Honestly, top 5.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my goodness. Fans, we have a little bit of trivia this week. Stick around. Stick around. Connie, do you have your trivia
I do,
question
yes.
ready?
Hold on a
Yes.
second here now. There we go. Do we got the
Oh, there we go. Now, I don't know
Oh,
about you, Mr. Condon, but I was thinking this week as a punishment, the loser would have to twerk on camera or something stupid like that. What do you think?
uh, no.
No, you're not going to do it? You're not going to twerk on camera? No?
No. I mean, I can't have footage like that of me floating around. That's, I mean, it's a great punishment for sure.
I mean, I'm kind of glad you said no, because I was practicing in the mirror before the show started, and I'm pretty sure I pulled a muscle in my side or something like that. I mean, like,
I'm not even sure
it's
what
not
is
easy.
so. No, what is the twerk? Is it when you jiggle your
You're behind.
your
Your
behind?
rear
Hey,
end. Yes.
wow,
Yeah.
scandalous.
I can't do it. It's hard.
I
The
have
motion
so
I make
many.
is not worthy for TV.
Well, no, I mean, I have so many political opponents that would just clip that off, and who knows how they would use it. I almost
Fair
feel
enough.
like it's a bit of sabotage. Somebody gotten to you, Aaron? Somebody suggest to you to to bring this to me?
No, of course.
Well, we'll figure out something in the near future for what we can do for
Absolutely.
punishments. But I will ask you my question.
Maybe Nick
Yes,
Opalewski send a message. How would you like to see Condon or myself punished with trivia?
From my understanding, and this is the feedback I'm getting from the fans, is that they don't find it funny when I lose, but they find it endlessly entertaining when you do. So I don't know. Got to give the people what they want. I'm maybe a bit too much of a contrarian, or I don't know, just not funny like you are. I find it I mean, you're an entertainer, Aaron, and thankfully you're not very good at trivia, so kind of works out.
That's true. I suck at trivia, but
I will go first, and this is pretty good. We'll see. Now, I want to know, did you watch a lot of Royal Rumbles this week in preparation for this, or were you just the 1991?
Just 1990.
All right. So, in what year did the WWF or WWE start using entrance music for all of the Royal Rumble participants, not just 1 and 2?
That would be 1996.
Wow, there you go. You had that one ready, hey? How is it?
I'll tell you why. It's just because for whatever reason, I keep having this vague memory of watching the recap of the 1996 Royal Rumble on Superstars, and they had Vader come down, and for some reason they had. I just remember Vader's music being in the background of that clip. So there you go. That's how I know that is 1996.
Good. There you go. All right.
I had to change the question that Andrew gave me. It might be a little bit too easy. And you know what? No. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Screw it. What year? Sorry, hold on. What year was it the first year that the Royal Rumble gave the winner
1993.
first crack at
Yokozuna. Yeah.
Yokozuna 1993?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Um,
Aaron, maybe we should have said that the loser would twerk, because we're both winners this week, and I think that we should just leave it off like that. I don't think there's any reason for us to keep going back and forth until one person wins.
I do want to ask you my bonus question just in case. I just want to see if you would have gotten it. All right?
Okay.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was happy enough for us both to go away feeling good about ourselves, but let's see.
Who did Hacksaw Jim Duggan eliminate to win the 1988 Royal Rumble? I will give you hints.
All right, give me some hints.
He has a manager, and he had multiple gimmicks in that era.
He has a manager, and he had multiple gimmicks in that era. So let me just... initially, I was going to say Big John Studd, but that's because I think he won the first non-televised Royal Rumble. Then my second inclination would be Mr. Perfect. But Mr. Perfect only had the one gimmick in that era. So when you say multiple gimmicks, complete departures, like they tried to repackage him?
Complete repackage, same manager.
Is it one-man gang?
It is. Yes. Good job. Good job.
Yes.
That is a great way to end this episode. Fans, if you are hardcore and if you love this podcast and you want to support us and to help us grow, please go over to our Patreon page. You're going to see all kinds of goodies that you won't see anywhere else. And of course, you will get that BWF prize package if you sign up. Request a topic once a month or as often as you want. It's all good. Until next week, please don't take it serious as we do not watch the product. Have a great week.
Move that back.